Welcome back to the Corporate Governance Program. I'm Amir Qureshi. Zafar Saab, before the break, we just started to talk about governance in the public sector. Could you please continue with that?
Yes, I was just going to say that one of my principal observations from experience is that public sector organizations, I think, suffer a bit more from the tyranny of the majority shareholder, which in this case would be the government, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's, I think, just partly comes from a mindset that in most of these public sector organizations, the shareholding of the government is very significant. I mean, it's not like just majority, but it's very sizable.
Yes.
But because they are listed companies, it means they have minority shareholders as well. And generally speaking, the mindset is, you know, what the principal shareholder wants, that's what we will do, the rest can be taken care of. And so strictly, if you look at the norms of the Code of Corporate Governance, I would say quite a few of the rules are not strictly abided by in spirit. And that's unfortunate. So that is, I guess, my principal criticism of it. And how do we address it? I mean, it has gone through my mind a few times. I think unless we provide a forum where, let's say, government nominees, the principal nominees, are also put through an orientation program where some of these aspects are clearly illustrated and highlighted, this issue might continue to linger.
There's the question of, I suppose, education of directors, and in previous episodes we've talked about the role IFC has played in terms of developing directors and so on. That's been a positive thing. Mr. Rasad Ali Shah, we were talking about some of the enhancements to the code that you would like to see, and one aspect that keeps coming up is the role of the internal audit function and the lack of, I suppose, protection for the internal auditors. What would you like to see happen in the revisions to the code?
At the moment, the code only requires listed companies to have internal audit, and that's all. I think within the terms of reference of the audit committee, they have this function as part of their TOR to, you know, look at the work of internal auditors. But you're right. I mean, it needs to be enhanced. I think the key aspect would be that the reporting relationship of internal audit. Now, I won't say that internal audit should have totally independent direct reporting to the board. In that context, the recommendation, best practice recommendation of the Institute of Internal Auditors is that internal audit should be functionally reporting to the audit committee and administratively to the chief executive. So that, you know, because if you totally take out the internal audit from the chief executive, then chief executive is deprived of his eyes and ears, you know, as kind of a monitoring function. Because internal audit is basically a monitoring function for management as well. They do the kind of monitoring of governance, internal control, and risk management.
Yes, it's a sort of a multifaceted role.
So I think that's one aspect, and I think we need to enhance, give some more guidance in line with the best practices, how the internal audit should be organized. But having said that, I think it is also important to look at the cost-benefit aspect, because even there's many codes, like if you look at the UK code, combined code, even after it has been revised, it only says that you know, it doesn't require internal audit as a mandatory requirement even.
Okay.
So it's you know, it depends on the size of the company as well. But if you are requiring internal audit, then it should have reasonable independence.
And Zafar Saab, we were talking about the board of directors, and previously we touched on the role of chairman and perhaps the separation of the CEO and chairman role. Who monitors the board? How do you actually monitor the performance of the board and evaluate their performance?
You see, the principle, basically it has to be the shareholder. You know, at the end of the day, you go back to an annual general meeting and you have your shareholders and they see what you've achieved as a board. So that is one aspect of it. But otherwise, the conduct of the board meetings, how well it's done, etc., it's largely the responsibility of the chairman of the board.
Yes.
But I think as we talk about how this whole area is evolving and what should be done, I think another principal recommendation is that boards should actually self-evaluate themselves, because there are people coming with different backgrounds. Usually boards are 8 or 10 people, different backgrounds, sometimes representing different interests. So if they sit together and do a post-mortem of how they are performing, are they working? See, at the end of the day, it is basically if they are functioning like a team and they've got the right skill sets on the board, well, that's a positive. And if it isn't, it can be influenced. The chairman can work with the principal shareholders to bring on people with the sorts of skill sets that are required. And as Asad said earlier, the independent directors, have we got the right number of them, and people with different backgrounds to head the audit committee, the HR committee, and so on. So it's got those sorts of elements in there. But if we create some mechanism which encourages boards to self-evaluate themselves, it could be the whole board, it could also be independent directors. And this sort of thing is now being done, especially in the West. A lot of companies are doing it. In Pakistan, I don't know if there are too many examples, although I'm sure there's some who've started to address it. But this would be also, I think, a significant area to bring about improvement.
Zafar Saab, I have to stop there because we've run out of time. Thank you very much for being on the program and sharing your thoughts with us. And Mr. Asad Ali Shah, thank you very much for being on the program as well. I hope you've enjoyed the program today. It's been a pleasure bringing it to you. Our special thanks to the International Finance Corporation, the IFC, for their support of this program. We look forward to having you with us next week. Until then, take care.